Morning, everyone. Here we are once again, and today is today's a tough day. Um, March 8th of 2023 is the day I lost my son. So I thought about today is just kind of going through and walking through essentially that day. You know what happened, and actually even just a few days prior to that, leading up to that day. Just a kind of, I guess, show or talk about how this was completely unexpected and off guard and obviously devastating. But March 8th, 2023, March 8th is going to be a tough day from here on out, regardless. And we still try to look at it, as a way to where this wasn't the day that we lost my son. This is the day that he gained his angel wings, and he's up in heaven now, looking after us. And today's the day, March 8th is the day that God called him to a greater purpose, and we look at it that way, as opposed to just the day that we lost him. We lost him here on earth, but we gained more with him in heaven. So although I would give anything and everyone to have him back in a heartbeat, we just know that's not possible. So excuse me, I'm a little stuffy this morning, so I apologize about that. But so going back to that week, March 8th was on 2023 was a Wednesday. That Monday, I took Garrett and actually went down and got his bank account established. And actually, you can kind of see it. I don't know if you can see it in this photo or not, but you can see in his hand here, where I'm at here, that's his Gonzaga debit card that he got. And he was excited about that. He went down and signed his own bank account paperwork and got it established, a couple $100 in there, with his first paycheck from his job that he's had for almost a month at that point in time. So he went down and did all that, super excited, got his debit card, got his bank account established, and had his work schedule that week. He only worked, I think, 2 days that week. And school was going good. Garrett's a smart kid. He kind of frustrated me a lot of the times, but he definitely did not get his smarts or his wisdom from his dad. I usually have to apply myself quite a bit with that. Garrett, on the other hand, he didn't hardly have to study for his exams and quizzes, and excuse me, he would do extremely well. And oftentimes I would have to get on him about doing homework because school was, I don't want to say boring, but it wasn't keeping him as engaged as it needed to be. And so he would often wander from homework and play video games up in his room. So I'd have to continue going back up there and checking on him and seeing what he was doing. And I'd always knew if it got real quiet, that means he was on his headphones playing video games in his room. So I'd stand by his doorway for a little bit. Every once in a while, he'd slip up and say something about his game or his buddy and stuff that he's playing online with. And then I'd walk in and I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And so that was always pretty entertaining for both of us. And so, so that was that Monday of that week. I dropped him off at his mom's house that night after doing the bank account stuff. It was kind of a split custody deal, 50 on, 50 off. So we had him week on, week off is how the split worked. And I think that week or weekend I had him an extra day or something. So mainly to get the bank account stuff established that Monday. And so I dropped him off. I think it was that Monday night. And proceeded to go on about our week like nothing else. I always called him, both him and my daughter, each day. Talked to them every day, and told them I love them always, and I'm very thankful for that because Wednesday night, again, March 8th of 2023, it was about 8:30. I called my son. I talked to him. Normal conversation. Nothing was different about this conversation. Garrett was always kind of soft-spoken, and his demeanor matched that. You know, it was nothing different. I asked him what he was doing. He was in his room. He said he was cleaning his room, and that he was just kind of hanging out, getting ready for bed. And so it was, again, nothing out of the ordinary. And that was about 8:30, I think 8:32 to be exact. Phone call lasted, 5-6 minutes, and I told him good night. I love him. He also said good night, love you, Dad, and that was it. We hung up the phone like we normally do, and it was within a half hour after that, I get another phone call. Initially, it was his mom on the line, frantic, and then all of a sudden, another guy got on the phone, and he said, "Are you the father of Garrett Clark?" And I knew right away something was not right. And I'm going to do my best to get through this for myself and for you all listening, so it's not horrible. You're not sitting here listening and watching somebody completely lose it and unfold on camera. So I asked the guys, like, what's going on? Tell me what's going on, sir. And I could hear Garrett's mom frantically freaking out in the background. And so as I'm on the phone with him, trying to get information, which he was having a hard time because I think they were trying to control her in the back and get her calmed down. I'm grabbing my sweats. I threw in my sweats and was telling my girlfriend, "Let's go. We gotta go. Something's not right." And I didn't even put shoes on, and it was the winter time here. There's a ton of snow on the ground, and it was very cold. And so I went up to the car, started it up, and I remember yelling back at the house, like, "Let's go, we gotta go." And then we got in the car, and from my house to Garrett's mom's house is only about maybe 12 minutes. And it's directly south of us here where I'm at in this place. And I remember I don't know, I just had the pedal floored to the floorboard, pressed the floorboard the entire time. I think I was doing 90 something through town, flashers on, blowing through intersections. I knew something, it wasn't good. I knew it wasn't good. And just that sound of his mom and then the sound of the officer's voice, that's who it was. It was a Coeur d'Alene police officer that was on the phone with me. The sound of their voice, I just knew this was bad. And so I make it to their area, and I turn on the street that they lived on, and I saw just nothing but red and white lights, and red and blue lights. They had I think one cop car there at the time, maybe two. And so I remember slamming on my brakes right in front of the mailboxes, jumping out of my car, running into the house, and the officers immediately stopped me there at the door. And it was a split level house, and they escorted me upstairs, and I knew there were people downstairs, and I didn't know that's where Garrett was yet, but it only took me a half a second to realize, that's where he was at. He was downstairs with the folks that were down there, the EMT crew and fire rescue and everything. And so I got escorted upstairs. Garrett's mom's up there, and that's when they proceeded to tell me that, or his mom proceeded to tell me that she was going back into his room. They'd either, I think, gotten into some argument or something prior to about cleaning his room, and she was giving him time to do that. And I think during that time, that's when I had actually called him. Must have been after their argument or shortly around that time. And she was going back into his room to see how he was doing and tell him goodnight and that she loves him and kiss him goodnight. So she goes into his room and finds him unresponsive in his closet. And she immediately tried to provide CPR and bring him back. She called 911, and that's obviously when all the first responders arrived, and they started working on him. And so when she was telling me all this, it just seemed surreal, and I in that moment I don't know what was going on. I can visually remember the scene, but to play back the conversations that were had, if I wasn't involved with them, I can't recall that. But I can visually remember, clearly where everyone was at, what everyone was doing. But as far as what everyone was saying, I don't know. So that part was kind of a blur. Excuse me. And so, so thankfully, one of the Coeur d'Alene officers there was somebody I knew from the military, and he pulled me aside and took me to another room and was talking to me, and obviously asking me some questions and stuff too, but was just talking to me, and that was a huge help. Just having that friendly face there, that was huge. So we were talking, and I'm just a mess, and I'm trying to answer whatever questions that can be helpful. And unfortunately, they weren't able to bring him back. They tried their best efforts, and my heart goes out to those first responders, and I'm very thankful for them getting there and how quickly they got there, and the efforts that they put forward. And I will always be forever grateful. And so please, give those folks a thank you when you see them. And I know they couldn't bring Garrett back, but that was not their doing. And I know their hearts were in every second of that moment too. So again, thank you. And so I remember eventually his grandma came to the house that we were at and where it happened, and then his sister Lily was up at a youth Bible group way up north and with her friend, and she came back to the house with her friend, didn't know what was going on. She was just pulling back into the house like she just got done from her group, had no idea. And then obviously she saw all the first responder vehicles, and I was actually walking outside at that time, and I was walking outside that time, and I'd been standing outside for a while in between and stuff, and with no shoes, and my feet were kind of messed up afterwards for a little bit from that. But walking outside, and my daughter pulls in, and she comes running up to the house, and I just grabbed her, and I said, "It's not good, Lily. Garrett's gone," and and so I held her tight, and just told her he's gone. They did their best, but he's gone, and she obviously just completely crumbled. So we were outside for a while. I had to breathe. I had to get out of that house inside, and so I was outside for a bit. Came back inside. Everyone's there, and we were all just kind of sitting on the couch, talking and saying how, why, what, and it was so it just completely caught us off guard. And what we think had happened was that he had was attempting something that was on TikTok there for a while, as far as kind of like that pass out. I don't want to call it a game because it's not a game, but pass out challenge or something that kids were doing there for a while on TikTok. And I just recently came across a video the other day where another 13-year-old boy, I want to say in Texas or something, passed away due to the same thing. And we think that's kind of what happened. It was one just big accident that he didn't really know what he was doing. And because there was, so obviously with an incident like that, law enforcement has to investigate it, and rightfully so. And so they talked with everyone. They took his phone for evidence. They went through all that with a fine-tooth comb, and there was not one single message, thought, anything on his phone. Nothing found in his room. There was not an ounce of a sign or signal that he would have wanted to take his own life intentionally. And so going back to that whole TikTok challenge thing, and that's the only thing that we can kind of come to as far as a possible solution of what happened that night. And so that was March 8th again, 2023. And obviously after that, we walked through the process of, my son's passing, and that was beyond tough too. All this is beyond tough and unfathomable. But I will maybe in another video get into, how those preceding weeks went, and what we had to go through, to maybe hopefully help share that with someone, to just showcase that, again, you're not alone. You are very, I guess, accepted in how you respond to things, most often, right? Everyone's grief is their own grief. Everyone processes that differently, but it's your own. And so you get that right. So that was kind of that day. So again, fast forward, we're 2 years, March 8th, 2025. And what we're doing today is we're getting together with his friends. They actually reached out to us the other day to see if they could hang out for just a little bit this afternoon. So we're going to get with his buddies and hang out for a little bit. And then we're going to go, just the family's going to go up to dinner at a ramen place up north of where we're at. Garrett loved ramen. He ate top ramen like 2-3 times a day, every single day. It seemed like we'd buy the cases at Costco and go through it in a week, it seemed. But we're going to go up there to a ramen place, and just kind of spend time with one another, talk about some funny stories, some memories, and I'll see if I can maybe bring, well, I'll have my phone with me, but I'll see if I can maybe get some pictures or video of that to share with you all on this next video, and then you can kind of put some faces to names and everything. So I hate to make that a doom and gloom video, but again, this channel is a lot for me, just sharing that each time I talk about it, which is not often. I feel, I want to say, a little weight lifted off my shoulders, but inside it feels a little lighter, and that's obviously happening for a reason. So talking about it is something that I know I need to do more of, and obviously this is a very different way of doing that. But yeah, I hope you all have a great day and enjoy the time with your loved ones, your family, your friends. You just don't know when things can happen at any moment's notice. We're not guaranteed tomorrow. So just please take the time to cherish one another and love one another. And just, you hear it all the time. It kind of sounds cheesy when people say it, but just be kind, be nice. Why not, right? All right. Have a good day, and we'll talk to you all later. Bye.